Hey guys, what is up? I hope everybody has been having a great day. Happy to be back with episode 22, part 1 of my golf vlog series, this time featuring the front 9 at Tobacco Road Golf Club. If you guys can do me a big favor and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, that would be greatly appreciated. It does help me out a lot. Also, if you guys are interested in long drive, there will be an event that I'm competing in that I'll be putting on my channel early next week. So look out for that, and definitely let me know if you guys would like to have more long drive content on this channel. It's really all about what you guys want to see. So just let me know in the comments, and I will act accordingly. So with that being said, let's hop into this video. So this is Tobacco Road Golf Club, and this is one of the craziest golf courses I would say in the world. Probably easily one of the most famous in the state of North Carolina. I absolutely love this course. This is probably one of the favorite courses I've ever gotten to play. I've played it a few times before, and you can see how hilly it is and how it's got so many quirks and things like that going on. So it's definitely a course you need to play a couple times. But once you figure out how to play it and where to put the ball, it's very playable. You can really go low on this course. I've actually played this course a few times in my career. And so my high school team, we would go on a trip to Pinehurst every year. And on our way down from Maryland, we would stop here and play every time. So I've played this course like 4 times, and it's got a lot of great memories. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun to play it again and kind of relive the old times. And as you guys can see, these greens are very quick and very true. So no excuses if I miss a putt. And already got a tester coming back for par on the first hole. It's like about probably a 5 to 6 footer. And that's definitely a stroke I'm going to be trying to make more in the future. I'm really happy with how I stayed down on that. I just kind of focused more on making the stroke and less on the result. So that's good to see that I'm able to do that at least some of the time. And I think as I continue working on my game, working on my putting, those things will happen more and more often. So bled this one out a little bit to the right. Just kept it left of that bunker. It kind of hit on the side of the hill and kind of just bounced straight up and kind of stuck right there. So not a terrible result, though. You definitely don't want to go into that waist trap. So I have it. This is crazy downhill, and the pin was on the right edge of the green. So definitely not an easy shot, but the one good thing was I had 89 yards in. So I could kind of throw it pretty high and try to get it to stop, and that's just what I did. This landed just barely on the edge of the green. You can see me jumping there trying to see it. And it rolled a little bit past the hole, but still a very good shot. Got about 12 feet or so left here for birdie. And once again, these could be, with the exception of maybe one other course, maybe 2, these greens could be the fastest greens I've ever had on this series. They were all at least at 11s, maybe 11 and a halves from my standpoint. And I'll have to show you guys this sometime, but one of the things I do to help myself read greens is I use what's called aim point. And I won't go into it in too much detail, but it's basically where you use the slope of the green and the percentage of the slope, and you kind of hold up a certain amount of fingers at your eye, and it kind of gives you the rough amount of break you should expect if your feel is correct on the slope percentage. And so that can really help with alignment and target when you're putting. The other half of the battle is being able to start on the right line. So that's the part I'm battling right now. And I hit a great shot here. You guys, this is probably one of the longest greens in the country. I mean, this is at least a 50, 60 yard long green, maybe longer. I mean, yeah. Pin is all the way back there too. So I landed on the little ridge and it kicked down to the left. So I did a great job getting it all the way back there without going too far. And so now I have about probably a 10 to 15 footer. Again, really quick. You really got to be careful with your pace. And made a great stroke, read it perfectly, and yeah, if I can start putting like that, yeah, I'm definitely confident on how my game is going to be doing in the future. So now on hole 4, taking out the big stick for the first time, trying to take it just over that waist bunker on the left and sound up. Just pulled this one a little bit, like just a little bit, and I ended up putting it in that waist strap. If it was a couple yards to the right, I think that would have carried it, and that would have really, really left me sitting pretty into that green. You could see the green all the way back there in the corner, and I know a lot of people have said that my bunker game's pretty solid. What I mean by that is my fairway bunker game, because I always seem to catch the ball clean. And so I thought I would explain briefly what I do. So this was kind of self-taught, just through experimentation, because I used to have big problems with catching the ball first on the sand, and because as everyone knows, the reason so many people dread fairway bunker shots is because it's chunk city. I mean, unless you catch it flush, you're going to hit it like 20 yards. So what I like to do is put the ball in the back of my stance and lean back. What I'm doing is putting the weight back and the bottom of the swing point back as well. And what that's going to do is encourage ball first contact and just set up in a way that makes you feel comfortable. I tend to prefer setting up open and kind of just going from there and making a good swing at it. And it works out pretty good. So now I got about an 8-footer here. Just, not a good putt and left it short. And so what I did there was I had the right read. And as a result of pulling that putt, and it's good that I'm seeing these shots down the line because I can actually see it for myself. What I'm doing is I'm pulling it, which is causing me to need to play for more break, and I'm hitting it softer so it can break more. And that's kind of just trying to do two wrongs to make a right, which, as a lot of people know in golf, doesn't really work that well. So I'm still in the process of cleaning up my stroke. It's definitely a process, but I'm starting to see better and better putts. And that's all I can really ask for, is maybe get marginally better so that over time it adds up into something significant. And that's kind of, you just got to keep taking positives from the game or else it'll beat you up. And that's kind of how you have to think. So I have a really tough shot here. Again, this hole looks easy, but this is probably one of the hardest holes in the course if they put that pin back there, because there's a false front right on the edge. So this is a very tough shot. And yep, caught it just a hair too heavy, and it's going to get sucked back down into that little valley right there. And these greens, these waste bunkers were incredibly difficult because it had just rained a lot. And as I'm sure you guys know, wet packed down bunkers are very difficult because the sand is so thick that you can't just splash it out like powdery sand. And you just can't really get a predictable shot off, and makes things a lot tougher. So I was battling that all day. And here, another really tough chip. Sorry if that mic bounced a little bit there. Another really tough chip there, and that was just me kind of really making sure I didn't leave it short again. Chipped it a little bit too far and a bit off the green, so making a massive mess on this hole. But hit a pretty good chip here. Hit it to about 2.5 feet. And I did make this. Unfortunately, I didn't have the camera running for whatever reason, and I didn't realize it until I was editing. So I did make that. So made bogey there on hole 6, par 3. And again, another easy hole to the eye, but this is definitely a very sneaky, tough hole as well. Because in stark contrast to hole number 3, the par 3, which is probably 80 to 90 yards deep. This hole is the green on this is maybe 15 yards deep. And so the distance is no problem. I mean, it's a wedge, and there's really not a lot of trouble per se. But the green is not very deep. And I was only like maybe 5 yards past this pin, but I had a really tough shot, and it was running away from me. And I was lucky that it got out of the bunker, quite frankly. So, this course can really sneak up and get you. I mean, you look at it, you're like, man, I should be able to shoot 65 every time. And maybe you should. But for people like me who have a good grasp of the game, and there's another pull, just frustrating to see myself pulling all these putts. But for people like me who, we're good golfers, but we still miss shots we shouldn't be missing. This course has a way of really, really beating you up when you do that. And so now in hole 7, +1, par 4. Probably one of the widest fairways in the state of North Carolina here. So if you miss this fairway, you got some problems. So just trying to hit a nice little 3-iron down there. And just a little bit of a pull, but that'll do. And so kick down the fairway pretty nicely. And looks like I'm down in... Yep, you see me just down in that little swale there. It's important to get it all the way down into that furthest ravine. and that way you can kind of have a more accessible shot. And you guys might say, well, the pin's in the front edge, so you might want to play back more. Now, typically I would agree with you, but the entire slope of that, you can see the slope on that green. It'll roll it right back to the pin. So this is about the easiest shot you can get. You can miss way long if you want, and it'll roll back. But I chunked it, and I left it short of the bunker and barely over the crap right there. And that was so frustrating because these are shots you shouldn't be missing, especially when you have that much of a backstop to run it off. So these last couple holes I haven't been playing very well. And it's weird. I don't know if you guys know of this or have experienced this in your own games, but let me know in the comments if you guys always seem to play the harder holes really well and screw the pooch on the easier holes, because I've always found myself to do that a lot. And I think it's maybe a mental thing. I think when you know you have an easy hole, I think you kind of relax a little bit, and that's definitely not a good thing in the sport of golf because it can definitely cause some miscues. And now in hole 8, and this is kind of proving my point here, this is probably the hardest hole in the course, if not at least definitely in the top 3. And because the entire green in this pin location is brutal because it was right on the downslope of this green, and you can't really stop this ball. I landed this ball, as you guys will see here, right on top of the pin, literally like maybe 5 feet away. And I mean, look, it still went all the way back, and you can see kind of the slope this thing's on. And so definitely not an easy hole, but I definitely put myself in a great spot here to make birdie. Looks like I'm about 15 feet away here coming back up the hill. And so, yeah, I mean, this is a hard hole, but this is by far the best look at birdie I've had in the last 4 holes. So I definitely think there is something to that. If you can approach every hole with indifference and just have that same relaxed focus, which is what I like to call it, I think that's the best way to play the game. But obviously that's easier said than done, or else everyone would be on the tour. And that was just me getting annoyed again because, once again, I pulled it, and that cost me. So I'm just getting a little frustrated because I know I'm pulling it. So I've been working on that a lot. On hole 9 and sound up. Pushed one to the right a little bit, but I mishit it a little bit, which actually turned out to be a good thing because I caught the little pocket on the right there. So I'm actually in pretty good shape in the fairway here. And this is one of the craziest approach shots you'll see in the course. However, stay tuned because on the back 9 there's one that's even crazier than this one. So they need like a 10, 12 foot tall pin so you can see the flagstick. And that's kind of what Tobacco Road's known for, is these really crazy approach shots. And I think they're awesome because it forces you to bring it in higher, and you really have to think your way around the course. And it's a great course for learning how to be a better manager of your game. You can see how lucky I got there. If that ball falls off, it'll roll 15 yards down that waste bunker and be almost an impossible shot. So now I got my 3rd shot, almost falling backwards into this bunker, by the way. And hit a pretty good shot here and ran all the way down to about 4 feet. And so it's about what I have left for my 37 on the front here. Just got to make a good stroke and not get too crazy with it. So that's what I'm going to do. And I will knock this one in for 37. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.